Now, before the Genshin stands get their panties in a wad, know that they play for the same team, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter if Honkai Star Rail is outperforming Genshin Impact, it's the same team, Hoyoverse. It's a W for them overall. So to the people getting ready to get defensive that play Genshin Impact, the Genshin Impact stands. Simmer down, little bro. It's gonna be all right. It's like getting mad at Klay Thompson for outperforming Steph Curry and you're a Golden State Warriors fan. Whose man's is this? Get in the back with Amber. All right, now that's out the way. I thought this was interesting. Some interesting statistics that I want to go over with you guys. I used to do this for Genshin when I was a Genshin Impact content creator. But yeah, I looked at the month-by-month banner revenue comparison for Honkai Star Rail since its release versus Genshin Impact since its release, and we got some interesting numbers here. So I want to go over this with you guys just so you know it's interesting content. I also want to go over a couple of variables. I've discovered that Genshin Impact's monthly player base is half of what Genshin Impact's, no, less than half of what Genshin Impact's monthly player base is today. And then when comparing them upon release, it's even half of what Genshin Impact's player base was upon release, which makes perfect sense. Genshin Impact released in the middle of the pandemic when people were doing fuck all with their lives. It makes sense that it had double the player base. But nevertheless, also turn-based games are a little bit more niche, so that makes sense as well. Nevertheless, it's astounding that it still outperformed Genshin Impact on the banner revenue sales with half the player base, which goes to show that there's a more concentrated audience for Honkai Star Rail. I believe if I had to draw a conclusion for this, I would say that Genshin Impact has much more of a younger audience that's completely free to play, whereas Honkai Star Rail has much more of an adult audience that work for a living on a daily basis, and so we're spending way more money over here. If that's what if I had to draw a conclusion, that's pretty much what I would say. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it and look at some of the things so that you can see I'm not just pulling any of this out of my ass. Okay, so this is GenshinLab.com. I used to use this website quite often to check banner sales for both of the video games, or just for Genshin when it was out. So you can see Scylla in her first month, she had 41,531,905 bucks. I'm not going to say that again. That's way too long. 41 mil. Silverwolf was 23 mil. Jing Yuan was 22. And Lorcha is 12 mil with still, I think, 4 days left until his banner ends. So maybe he can slow crawl to 13 million. Maybe not. Who knows? But we can go ahead and put that. Anyways, this is just 4 banners. So we're still waiting on the 5th banner. And in this video, I'm comparing 5 banners versus 5 banners. But since Blade hasn't released yet, we can't really do that. The crazy thing is, their 4 banners have already outperformed Genshin Impact's first 5 banners, which is wild. So let's come over here. This is a lot to look at, right? So I pulled up another one just so you guys could see. The very first 4 banners of Genshin Impact was Venti, Klee, Tartaglia, Zhongli, and then the 5th banner was Albedo. So Blade's actually going up against Albedo in performance. And let's face it, when Albedo first came out in Genshin Impact, my boy was 110% slept on and in the back with Amber. So that's probably going to be an easy clap for Blade, I would imagine. Maybe I can be wrong. But let's look at the banner revenue sales for each one of these characters, starting off with Venti. Venti's very first time, he was the first character in Genshin Impact ever released. 30.6 million was what Venti brought in. And yeah, Scylla blew him out the water with an extra 11 million on top of that. So Venti took an L. And then Klee, we both know, I think we all know that Klee, actually, you know what? Klee had a little bit of hype behind her because again, the game was fresh. So people were just like, bet, who's this character? Don't care, picking him up. She made 22.7 million, which is actually wild. I think we can all agree that today, 2023, Klee ain't getting no love. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't play Genshin anymore, so maybe she is, but I know she wasn't getting no love when I was playing. Anyways, against Jing Yuan, he actually lost to Klee. Just by a little bit. They pretty much got the same sales. We're looking at 22.57 right there, and Klee is at 22.7. Now, I just want to make sure, you guys, I did go to as far as I could go. This is up to July 13th, and this bad boy here is also up to July 13th. So there's no tricks and gimmicks. This is literally, this is what it is. So we can just go ahead and consider that Klee and Jing Yuan had a tie. Now moving on to Tartaglia and Silverwolf. Silverwolf had 23 million and Tartaglia, let me find this guy real quick, had 13.4 million. Damn, they really slept on my boy on that first banner. What the? I thought he had more than that. That's interesting. Well, nevertheless, Silverwolf shitted on him by a whole 10 million. And this is like blowing my mind because You know what? We'll save that for later. Lorcha's at 12.1 million, and then the fourth banner character was Zhong Li. Now we all know he's at 16 million. We all know this was the biggest controversy in Genshin Impact. People were pissed off. Zhong Li sucks. He's not as good as we wanted him to be. It became a little bit more political in the realms of China, I believe, because they view Zhong Li as like the ultimate god, I believe. Now, I'll go ahead and keep it a stack, though. I'm not well versed in Zhong Li's influence and how he is revered in China. But basically what it came down to is he's such a giga chad in China that they were pissed off that he wasn't just, you know, incredibly broken, so to speak. And then they ended up making him broken, and then they brought back a rerun banner where Zhong Li was buffed to the, we all know this, but I'm saying this for the people who didn't know the drama revolving around Zhong Li. It was immense drama. Anyways, he got a rerun banner, which is down here, and it's another 10 mil. Now, unfortunately, I can't include that in his first banner sales because, well, that just wasn't happening. It didn't happen around that time. I think a month or two later, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, he got his rerun back and everybody ended up picking him up. So in total, that's 26 mil. But again, I can't include that. It's not fair because that wasn't in the same time interval. So for now, 16 million for Zhong Li, and then he's going up against Lorcha, which I think Lorcha's going to take that L. There's no way he closes that gap in the next 4 days. Yeah, no shot. It's not happening. I'll give him 13 mil tops. So he lost to Zhong Li. And then finally, Genshin Impact's fifth character was, who the hell was their fifth character? I already forgot. Oh, Albedo. That's right. So Albedo, again, I'm pretty sure he was in the back with Amber. Let me see where that boy Albedo. I'm going down to the bottom because I know he got to be down here somewhere. Here he is. Yeah. Looking a little tough. 11.8 million for Albedo's very first rerun. So he's going up against Blade, and I'm pretty sure Blade is definitely, I feel like Blade's going to be like somewhere right here. I think you could probably get like 15 million in sales, maybe 18 million. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I definitely think he's going to outperform Albedo in the least. But what's interesting here is I went ahead and did some calcs. These four banners right here, just comparing Honkai Star Rail's 4 banners versus Genshin Impact's 5 banners. Honkai Impact has already brought in 99.1 million in banner revenue for the 4, and versus Genshin Impact's 94.7 million in the 5 banners. This is crazy, guys, because like I said to you, if we come over here, in the past 180 days, the past 3 months, Honkai Impact hasn't even been out for 3 months yet. It came out on April 26th, so May 26th, June 26th. You haven't even made it into July 26th. In fact, let's just look at the whole chart. 31 million players on April 30th, and then it dropped down here a little bit, 24, 23, 22, and now it's on the way back up, 28 million monthly players, right? In comparison to Genshin Impact's, that's the wrong banner. Where's Genshin Impact at? It's over here. Genshin Impact on its 3rd month had 56 million average monthly players, and then in today it's sitting at 65 million average monthly players according to these charts. Now I wouldn't take these too literal. Maybe the numbers are off a little bit, but I'd rather trust a statistic than trust, word of mouth. I would say this is literally more accurate than this, and it's definitely a good metric to utilize to compare, statistics on some measurable level. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't take it too literal. But what I will say is I guarantee Genshin definitely has double the audience of Honkai Star Rail. It makes sense. But on the 3rd month, we're looking at 56 million. And then on the 3rd month of Honkai, we're looking at 28 million. So again, double the audience. Yet Honkai is outperforming it in banner sales, which is actually nuts. Now, in case you guys are interested, I think, like I said, my conclusion here is I believe how they add up the revenue of banner sales is they only apply top up, at least just logically, just from a logical standpoint. I think top up is the only thing being measured as banner sales. So in the interval that the character is released, anytime a top up gets purchased, they're going to count that towards banner sales. But I think the consistent dollar, which is going to be the battle pass and the Welkin Moon, the $5 and $10 that everybody buys just to give their account a little edge on grind and stuff like that, I think that's an entirely separate revenue from banner revenue, which makes perfect sense. The consistent dollar is the one that's bringing in the most money. I've said this before, but it's separate from the banner sales. Anyways, Genshin Impact's total revenue, all the purchases in the app on the 2nd month, it was at 172 million. Now, I didn't even look at the research of how much Honkai has brought in for its month by month total revenue sales, but I did read an article not too long ago that said he made 100 million on its 1st month. Genshin only made 14 million on its first month. But to be fair, nobody knew about this game. They literally were a small indie company. I know that's a meme nowadays, but they really were a small indie company at that time. Now they blossomed and they're just kicking, they're crushing it, right? But I think Honkai Star Rail is kicking ass, and here's why I want to make that argument. It's honestly, it has a lot to do with the fact that and I'm sure much like many other people, thought Genshin Impact's success came from the fact of the God tier marketing during the pandemic. Not a lot of shit was going on. So I thought Genshin Impact's success, a lot of it came from it just being dropped in the pandemic. And there weren't a lot of games or like nuclear bombs centered around the release of Genshin Impact. Quote me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Anyways, Honkai Star Rail released with nukes, bro. I'm talking Breath of the Wild, Diablo 4, and now Final Fantasy 16, which isn't as big as the aforementioned titles, but still, those were big titles that can like take an audience away. Yet it's still performing where it's performing. I mean, Hoyoverse is just absolutely crushing and dominating the gacha genre. It's insane, bro. This is one company dropping bomb after bomb after bomb. Zenless Zone Zero's coming around the corner like good, bro. It's insane. Like who the freaking CEO in whatever their business team is, their development team, they are just on the ball with how to go about running that business. I mean, I guess it's evident that we're all in the wrong business, and what we all need to be doing is going to school and learning how to make some damn gacha games. That's what I'm taking away from this. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm taking away from this. Getting back on topic though, I think it's crazy that Honkai Star Rail is making that kind of money and Kafka hasn't even dropped. Let's face it. Kafka is probably gonna I don't know. I don't think she's going to outperform Scylla, because that first character is special because it's, you know, it's the biggest hype of a game. Like, of course, you're going to spend a lot of money on that first character. Like I said, Venti's 30 million sales. If you dropped Venti today for Genshin Impact and he was the very first character released, he wouldn't have 30 million sales. He probably had like 15 million. I don't know. But that first character is special. But if Kafka outperforms Scylla, that's going to be crazy. And she can. She's like the holy grail for Honkai Star Rail in terms of anticipation of character release. I think if anybody can do it, it's going to be Kafka. We'll see. I'll end up making more videos down the road trying to keep up with these statistics to the best of my capabilities. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, guys. As always, y'all take care. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm outie.